Hey y'all, welcome to the Girl with Ariel, and today I'm going to be showing y'all some of the things that I'm going to be doing in the garden. We can do a quick little tour and then I'll get into everything. But if you haven't been to my channel before, hi, my name is Ariel. This is the Girl with Ariel, where I show you things from the garden in my 9A garden to cooking from scratch in my kitchen. So in this area right here, I have two different cover crops. I'm going to put in the video which cover crop this one is. I believe it is crimson clover, and then this is winter oat. So this is just going to be the cover crop that I put in until January, because I needed something to cover the ground until I put my onions and my garlic in. So there's this bed over right here, and then a bed mirroring on the other side that I'm going to be putting some garlic in. Oh, and I probably planted these two together about 2 weeks ago. It is, what is today's date? It's November 5th, 2023 right now. And then over in this plot, I have radish down the center, and then it's 4 different varieties of collard greens that I put down, like mustard greens. I'm blanking on their names, but it's 4 different varieties, and I just have them right here. Each time I go about 2 weeks without seeing any style of germination, I'll usually just go back in and I will replant seeds at those spots. There's 4 radi, I don't know, right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, all planted the same time, and only this one really is coming up. So we're gonna see how the other ones do, and then yeah, we'll just see. But I have these collards over here coming up, and then I have these over here that they just didn't germinate. So moving on down is lettuce in the center, and then there's celery over here, and then cabbage over here. None of my cabbage have come up. I feel like it probably needs to get a little bit colder, but the lettuce is trying to grow, and I got little baby lettuce right here, so that's really nice to see. And I believe this celery is coming up. 1, 2, 3 of the 4 spots that I planted that are coming up, so that's good to see as well. And then over here is my broccoli. Now I'm probably going to re-sow this broccoli. So 1, 2, 3, 4, that's all broccoli. This is the healthiest looking one, and this broccoli has probably been in here for about 4 weeks. So that is some really small broccoli. So what this is right here is an okra plant. I planted this okra plant mid-June of this year, which is technically just a little late, but I was able to get 2 gallons worth of chopped up okra from this plant. And then once it started to get cold and the leaves started looking bad, I got less interested, and I decided that I'm going to just have the rest of these for seed. And that's actually something that we're going to be getting into today, and taking down this monstrosity and figuring out what else to put in its place. And just like this okra right here, this is basically leftover from the previous season. This is basil. It started getting cold. Basil doesn't like cold like that. I do see some parts of this basil that did get woody. I've seen things where it says, like, if your basil gets woody, you will be able to overwinter it. But I kind of want this space for something else. So it might stay, it might go. I'll make a decision on that. And then there's these beans over here that just have aphids on them. They didn't get a good amount of sunlight because this okra is blocking it out. So I'm probably going to be ripping up those as well. So it is a good possibility that I will have this bed and this bed right here completely empty that I'll just need to figure out what to put in them. So all these okra that I'm going to be harvesting, they're just going to be for seed. I was very pleased with the 2 gallons of okra that I got. And I don't really have space for more. So this is what we're going to do. I need more. I'm going to see if this will work. Whatever. That'll do. No, this is not safe. Do I still do it? Yes, I do. Pros and cons of different gardens. Going forward, I didn't realize that some okra can get this big, to be quite honest. The last okra that I had, it didn't even get this tall. And I got like 3 okra off of it, so it's different. But I didn't know that can get this big. So yeah, I think I'm gonna turn the camera off for this one. I changed my mind. I was getting up there and harvesting like I usually do, but like I only harvest like that because I want to keep the plant alive. I'm okay with unaliving this plant. So you might as well just go ahead and chop it down and then just harvest the things that I see when it's down. So honestly, this okra is kind of like a tree. I want to cut it down like a tree. I feel like that would be easier. Okay. I want it to fall in this little piece right here. Y'all, why did I actually freeze like this, like I'm buffering? That's something else. I want to see if I can zoom in on this. Cutting a okra plant. Probably should have gone lower. Ah! I stopped paying attention. Oopsies. Luckily, all that's getting tossed. Oh no, there was probably a lizard in there. Thick black. Well, we could so do this. Like it's hanging over the sink, getting its hair done. So I'm gonna just harvest this stuff. So many seeds. I probably don't even need this many seeds. Ooh, there is an ant pile right there that I don't want to get too friendly with. Ooh, I can smell that basil. Ooh. I wonder if there's like a field test that I could do. or if I should just, I feel like I should just assume all of this is seed. But it's gonna be a lot of seed. A lot. And oh, okra has a, it can poke you. So just be mindful of that whenever you work with okra. And it just itches. That's really all it does. It's just itchy. I guess I could start breaking this down. Oh wow, it's thick. Oh wow. Okay. These are just some garden tasks that one would do for upkeep. It does kind of hurt my heart because there are still flowers on this okra. Ooh, I'm finna toss these beans. There's just aphids on it. So gross. The bee. Man, oh man. Okay, I think I got most of the okra off of this. This is pretty. Yeah, let me show you the okra I pulled off. So that's the okra that I pulled off. I'm gonna have to go through it and see like what I can save to eat and save for seed. It's a lot more okra on here than I thought there would be, especially since it's so late in the season for this. But I'm just gonna, wow. I'm just gonna chop this up as I can. So I made the executive decision to go ahead and give y'all some tidbits while I wrestle with this big old okra plant. Sometimes I want to call it a tree, but okra plant. We are going to dive into the world of okra. You know, I'm out here in zone 9A, so they grow pretty well out here. So first thing, growing season and preferred growing climate for okra. This is also known as lady's finger. It thrives in warm climates. It's particularly well suited in 9A where we have a long and hot summer. In fact, it loves the heat, so much so that it exploded while it was hitting those 100-degree temperatures. And what I was showing you right there is just the thickness and all those cell membranes in the main stem of that okra plant. Back to our segments. The preferred growing soil of this okra. It, of course, prefers well-drained, sandy, or loamy soil. It doesn't like its feet to be constantly wet, so good drainage is key. You can also add organic matter like compost to improve the soil's fertility. So make sure that you plant your okra in a spot that gets plenty of sunlight, which is exactly why I planted mine right here. So it's a really good plant. It exploded real nice on me, and I will be honest. The first time I had it, first time I seeded okra, it did not do well at all. I think the biggest difference with this okra plant is that I actually did the hibachi. It's a Japanese method where you just compost in place. So I actually threw a bunch of scraps in there maybe 2 weeks before I had planted the okra seed. So keep that in mind. You don't have to purchase commercial fertilizers to be able to fertilize your garden. You can compost. So next up, thriving in the heat. Speaking of heat, let me go ahead and tell you about my own experience with this okra. I mean, I guess I already said it earlier, but it loves the heat. Like, I didn't even want to step outside, but it was just exploding because of that heat. Now, okra's popularity has been steadily rising in the recent years thanks to the versatility in the kitchen. But did you know that okra has been a staple in many cultures for centuries? It has a fascinating history, especially in the context of Black culture, which I'm going to be cooking that good food with this okra that we have harvested. Okra has really deep roots in African and African American culinary traditions. It was brought to the United States by the enslaved Africans and quickly became a staple in their diets. Its adaptability to various cooking methods and its nutritional value made it a vital ingredient in dishes like gumbo, a classic Creole Southern dish, which I will be making very soon. And I actually have a video of my mom making gumbo, so I will always cherish that. So, next up, let's look through some meals that you can make with okra. So, gumbo. It's a rich and hearty stew filled with okra, sausage, and various other meats or seafood. It's the true essence of Creole cuisine. You know, when it gets just a little cold, it's time to whip that okra out and go ahead and get that stew started, that gumbo started, so you can be nice and full. Next up, fried okra. I really like fried okra. A classic southern dish where okra is sliced, coated, and seasoned with cornmeal and deep fried until crispy. It's really good, not healthy, but it's really good. Another one that I like to make is chicken and andouille sausage gumbo, and that one has okra in it as well. And oh my gosh, it is the most, I wouldn't even say decadent because that reminds me of delicate, but it's a hearty meal and it is just very robust with flavors of the culture. Some other ones that come to mind that I actually don't often cook: Hoppin' John, a southern dish made with black eyed peas, rice, and okra, and it's traditionally eaten on New Year's Day for good luck. And then there's okra curry. Okra slimy texture disappears in the flavorful curry with spices, tomatoes, and other vegetables. Okra and tomatoes, a simple and healthy dish where okra is cooked with tomatoes, onions, and spices. So, since I'm finishing up this okra that I have right now, I can just go ahead and close it out and then hop back in with some current information from the video. Okra is not only a fantastic vegetable to grow in Zone 9A, but it's also a symbol of rich culinary traditions, particularly in the Creole and African American cooking. So I really hope that you enjoyed learning more about this fascinating vegetable. If you have any questions or want more information about okra, leave a comment below. And don't forget to hit that button and subscribe for gardening and culinary adventures. So, as I continue to clean up the garden, I've come across a common garden pest: aphids. These tiny insects can sometimes wreak havoc on our plants, but there are ways to deal with them naturally to promote a healthy garden ecosystem, which is really what I always strive for. Understanding aphids. So let's really get into this. These small, soft-bodied insects come in various colors and can reproduce rapidly, leading to infestations if left unchecked. Aphids feed on the sap of plants by piercing them with needle-like mouth parts. They not only weaken the plants, but can also transmit diseases. Now, why might your garden attract aphids? There could be several reasons. Lack of predators, overfertilization, poor plant diversity. So, first one possibility is that your garden lacks natural aphid predators like ladybugs, lacewings, and parasitic wasps. These beneficial insects keep aphid populations in check. Next, overfertilization. Excessive use of nitrogen-rich fertilizers can encourage lush, tender growth in plants, which is like an all-you-can-eat buffet for aphids. And then poor plant diversity. Monoculture or lack of plant diversity in your garden can make it easier for aphids to spread. And then another one is that I'm really just thinking about is aphids tend to go after plants that are already weak or their system has already been weakened. Those beans, they were blocked by the loofah, which was taken out before the video, and it was also blocked by the okra. It was not getting enough sunlight. Thus, it was already weaker. Thus, the aphids went towards that. The aphids weren't on anything else. And the aphids only began to show up slightly on the okra once it started to get under 50 degrees at night. And that is nowhere near where your okra should be growing. So now let's look at remedies. How can we fix this? So I'd rather explore some natural ways to restore the balance of the garden's ecosystem, reducing bad pests like aphids and encouraging good insects and vertebrates. Attract beneficial insects, companion planting, encourage birds, and then you could also hand pick those aphids, meaning like you see them and you just walk over and you squash them. Or you can take the jet part of your hose attachment and you can knock them off like that. And the goal is to break their mouthpiece. And if they can't eat, they can't thrive. That's the thought process with that. Attracting beneficial insects, you gotta plant a variety of flowers, herbs, vegetables, things of that nature, as well as not using chemicals. And those will also attract different ladybugs. So keep that in mind. You can also companion plant. So you can put I can never say this flower's name. I'll just type it up. But if you're able to plant those are known to repel aphids, and they can also be planted alongside beans and other vulnerable crops. So birds are also excellent garden helpers. You can place bird feeders to attract them, but I'm a little iffy on intentionally attracting birds because sometimes I want them, sometimes I don't, because they will go after your actual vegetables as well. Lastly, maintaining healthy soil is crucial for a resilient garden ecosystem. Organic matter like compost enriches the soil and encourages beneficial microorganisms that can deter aphids and other pests. So there you have it. Aphids may be a common garden pest, but with a little effort and some natural techniques, you can create a balanced garden ecosystem where the good insects and vertebrates help keep the bad pests away. Thank you all so much for tagging along and watching. Hope you were able to learn something new. And thank you all so much for watching The Real with Ariel with me. And have a great day. Bye.